Hello and welcome back to my neck of the woods. I'm Morning Day You, and today I begin Castlevania Advance Collection. Well, one game out of the Advance Collection. To get into it, I played a bit of Circle of the Moon, and decided, hey, through just a small amount of time, I might as well play it. In this collection, we also have Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow, as well as Dracula X, Rondo of Blood, as the alternate title, which I believe was the PSP remake of the game. We also have a gallery, music player, and game version. So, to get into this, Castlevania Circle of the Moon. The year is 1830, in an ancient castle on the outskirts of the Austrian Empire. A dark demon lord that would unite the powers of darkness was being resurrected at the hand of a fiend yearning for chaos. At this demonic castle, Camilla, one of Dracula's minions, began the incantation of a ritual to bring her Lord Dracula back to life. The vampire hunter Morris and his two apprentices, Nathan and Hugh, sensed an anomaly and an abnormality in the balance of nature and rushed to prevent Dracula's unholy reemergence. That unholy monster must never return. However, they arrived too late to prevent Dracula's return from his confinement. Dracula used his magical powers to imprison Morris and cast Nathan and Hugh into a graveyard underneath the demonic castle. Together, the two began to search through the castle to vanquish Dracula and rescue their master. And this was on the Game Boy Advance originally. I was completely wrong with where this came into. So, let us begin. So, a few things. With the Switch Castlevania Advance Collection, you have a special pause menu, which works kind of like an emulator. I'm going to turn that off. So this is the Gadget Settings tab. It displays certain, this gives you attribute and action cards that are obtainable from monsters in battle displayed on the side of the screen. It's annoying because it pops up every time you hit the monster. Don't worry. I'll tell you what's what. And most of the time I'm going to be grinding anyway, so it's not too bad. I'll turn it on for... Yeah, I'll turn it on for a bit just to show that off. And if I wasn't playing in full screen mode, I could change the background wallpaper, for which is shown by the screen. So I could play with standard, so the edges get a bit chopped. I could play pixel perfect, where you get a bit of a border and it's a bit more like the Game Boy Advance, or I could play full screen and not have any gaps to have to fill. I already have a background for recording, so I don't need to have another wallpaper here. You have a few replays, so in case I wanted to show off something, there's that. I could go into the credits, control settings, reset the game, the encyclopedia, which I'll go into for a quick second, which just shows off info about the game, including enemies. This is why I won't need to have that system on. I can actually show you what enemies drop and their attribute, HP, experience given, but also certain ones will drop a card and I can show that off. For right now, I won't go into that too much. I also have a quick save and quick load option. So let us begin Castlevania Circle of the Moon. You go data select, there's my practice file. Let's go to the end, shall we? And I will just name this file Nathan. After the pro tag of this game, Nathan Graves. If I'm correct, by putting in the name Hugh, you should be able to play as Hugh Morris. Was it Morris? I think it was... I had a moment where it's like, that just sounds like some sort of ship name, and I lost it. But we'll find out soon enough because we'll get the characters' names. I don't remember names all that well, so... enough stalling. Continue. It is 1830. at an old Austrian castle. From the worshippers of chaos, rise the plea for the return of the Lord of Darkness. Gotta love slow text scroll. Hopefully everything sounds alright. Switch some things up with audio settings. We crave the presence of the embodiment of suffering, the ruler of darkness. I have waited for this moment to be awake again, to bask in darkness and feel the moonlight within. Count Dracula, I am honored to be in your presence. Indeed, though I lack my full power. We are preparing the rite to replenish your power. Stop! Oh yeah, Baldwin. So we play as Hugh Baldwin. And if we entered in the name Hugh. And I'm not too sure that is true. You might have to complete the game at least once. Confusion around that may vary. You cannot be allowed to taint the world. You, I remember. You were one of the vampire killers that sealed me. You've aged. It is our duty to see you banished. Amusing. To use my nemesis' life to return my power. I have no use for children. Be gone. Hugh, Nathan. Master. Father. I might change Hugh's voice up a bit, depending on how I feel. No creatures around here. Hugh, are you okay? Yeah, we were just brushed aside and ignored. We have to find Master. I'll go. He's my father. Nathan, he'll just be in the way. Get out of here now. I want to find Master as much as anybody. So here we are as play... Oh, I messed that up greatly. Oh, forgot how the controls work for a second. Okay, to go over it quickly. B is whip, A is jump, Y opens up the map as a quick option, X opens up our menu, minus opens up our map, plus opens up our menu, left trigger opens up our pause menu, which gets you the chrono mage right there. Left and right bumpers do things that I can't do anything with yet. And to go into this, you have the dual setup system, or DSS. This is a bit like Aria of Sorrow's Soul system. Except in this, you only have two cards. You have an action and an attribute card. Action dictates what you need to do to activate the ability, and attribute changes up how it works. I'll show this off once we get a few cards. We have the item menu, so we got body, arm right, arm left, and use. So use is for consumable items, arm left and right are for items that are equipped to our arms, so rings, gauntlets, such, and body is body, so leather armor and cloth robes. And we can even examine our cards in greater detail with the card option, as well as magic items, which are a bit like the ability souls from Aria of Sorrow. So, we're playing as Nathan Graves, holder of the Vampire Killer, and on this screen we have time, rate, HP and MP totals, as well as heart total, experience, and experience needed to the next level, as well as our current level stats and our status. Status is for, if we're poisoned, it'll say poison and such. It's Castlevania. It's kind of self-explanatory if you played Aria of Sorrow, Symphony of the Night, such. The RPG line that created the Metroidvanias. And for now, we're just kind of weak and pathetic. So, hopping down, we enter the castle proper. Or, I guess we aren't in the castle proper, we're in the catacombs, I believe. So, there we have a skeleton bomber. And that pop-up you saw right there with the 11, skeleton bomber, and a card symbol, That would be the gadget setting. So let me just turn that off. Oop. Ow. Well, that works. That works. We received the Salamander Card. Bomber skeletons hold that card, and you get it to randomly drop, a la Soul System from Aria of Sorrow. I'm going to be referencing that a good bit. But yes, the Salamander Card is an attribute card that holds the power of fire. And now we have the introduction of the system. So attribute and action cards will create a specific effect. These can be set at the menu screen using the DSS option. So, just to show it off, dual setup system. In attributes, we have Salamander. Salamander, a lizard bathed in flames, embodiment of the fire spirits. Salamander has the power of fire. And look at that card art. It looks nice. But without an action card, it's about as useless as a Yu-Gi-Oh card without a dual disc in the series. Basically, without hologram technology, it's just a children's card game. Heading further down, we have more skeleton bombers. Whoop. And destroying those wall torches, wall sconces, I guess. Or at least the fire in the sconces. We get hearts, which we can use for sub-weapons, as Nathan not only has magic, but has sub-weapons unlocked as well. Of course, following traditional Castlevania, by using the Vampire Killer Whip, we can destroy enemy projectiles. And we're introduced to bats, which don't hold a card, and boneheads, which do hold a card. In fact, it's our first action card, and I'm thankful it showed up soon. So, boneheads hold the Mercury card. Oops. Going into here, we have Mercury and Salamander. Checking out the card, Mercury, the messenger of the gods, has the potential of strength. So Mercury affects our strength. Oop. Slight messing with control. And now, by pressing the left bumper, we activate our setup. So, with Mercury and Salamander, our whip becomes a flaming whip. And I should say it, by holding down the B button, you can spin your whip. Doing so with Mercury doesn't actually cause it to spin, a flaming eternal ring of death. I wish it did. But we can make do without. I'm just happy things drop so easily. Now, the downside is a lot of the enemies we'll be fighting here are actually resistant to fire, except the poison worm pile. But as shown there, the skeleton bomber actually resisted our whip. Whereas bats and the worm pile didn't. And in addition, the boneheads also resist fire. It's sad, but soon we'll get to a point where we'll be able to use that without any problems. Now, this is a save room. This fully restores our HP and MP and allows us to save the game. I will be looking out for all of these because I need them. I desperately need them. And much like Aria of Sorrow, I'll try my best to avoid death, while also level grinding by, destroying everything that stands in my way. And there's our first level up. Check the map quickly. So now, each of our stats were increased by 2. Quite a nice increase, if I do say so myself. That means our attacks are stronger. And we've obtained our first sub-weapon.